G'day and welcome to Surfing Live TV, brought to you by our partners at Gotcha. We'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this Yugambeh speaking region and pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging. I'm Ray from Surfing Live, and our special guests this episode are our two test pilots from our board test for this year. We hit Bali, super fun. We'll chat about that in a second. Ellie J. Brooks, Thomas Carvalho. How fun was Bali?
So good.
It was epic. I mean, I had expectations of going to Bali, and this blew it out of the water.
How'd you find it?
I feel like we probably timed it well.
Yeah.
We had car parks to ourselves a couple of days.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool.
Yeah,
we had the local knowledge on our side, so we got the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time, and we scored.
It was good we had the guys from World Safari Bali helping us out, and that was so good. We had a little van every day with Nyang driving us, and had Agus and Putu in the truck with all the boards. Just it was so good not having to worry about the boards, wasn't it? Tying them on, just throw them in, get some bintangs, head back to the hotel. That was fun.
Some snacks.
Get some pepitos. Oh, a little inside joke. People like going to Pepitos apparently, if you're Ellie and Kobe. We had Kobe along on the trip, and that was pretty fun for your good mate. So, yes, lots of snacks, lots of food eaten. I think there was more food eaten than there were waves ridden.
Yeah. I guess for every wave ridden, maybe 2 niggerangs.
Yeah, yeah, that's your ratio.
Yeah, your ratio, not ours.
Yeah. Only because you're finishing off everyone else's. Just a machine, aren't you, mate? You've just got to keep putting fuel in that machine.
Fuel the body.
We were surfing eight hours a day.
We were.
6 to 8 hours a day.
We were surfing tons. We surfed, started at airport lefts. That was fun. Little warm-up surf when you rocked up. Kind of was nice. It was right on the foreshore of our resort, and chucked in a longboat, and out you rolled. And
it was the perfect welcoming.
It was.
It was a beautiful Bali sunset, and right at the front of the resort.
Yeah, and they'd come in from the surf and swim up to get you. Swim up cocktails.
Swim up cocktails. Some Instagram content of the sunset. It's perfect.
Got to get that gram flowing, don't you?
You.
And then Ulu's for a couple of days. Again, pretty fun. Good size. I think before we rolled in, it had gone flat after they had a good swell. And then on our last day, it was lapping, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, we timed it well.
Yeah, so last day was sort of a chill day, which was kind of good because we were flying out. But, when we do these tests, there's a couple of things we try and achieve. Good content, cover the boards. But as you know, I'm always trying to just get that one thing. And I seem to be making a habit of it. You know what that one thing, me personally, I'm trying to get?
What?
This.
Whoa! Holy crap! No.
I knew it! That's so good. Is that the clear water?
Oh, wow.
That's at Uluwatu. That's yours. That will be the next cover of the Surfing Life magazine.
Oh, how cool!
Whoa. Thanks, Ray. Wow.
Is that at Ulu's?
Yeah, that was...
That was when you guys went to get lunch.
Oh, rub it in. Was it actually?
Yeah.
You're up at the single fin, Tommy down, blast.
Oh, wow.
Heavy.
So great shot from Trav. Congrats to Trav to get a cover. It's as special for the photographer as the surfer.
Trav deserves it. I mean, he puts in a lot of work, and I was privileged to watch it all happen.
It was wild,
yeah. Thank you.
Hard work pays off, and first cover, huh?
I got goosebumps.
Goosebumps, yeah. So good.
Thank you.
Well, pleasure. Now, look at that. Yeah, throw it up there. It's like a trophy.
It is.
Good as?
It's so cool.
Yeah. amazing.
Grace, man. Well, we better do what we're here for, and that's talk about the boards we tested when we went to Bali. This is a shape by Dave Verrill, who used to shape Diverse for many years, a very well-known brand. This kind of like the brief for the shapers was an all-round travel board. So you could take, if you took one board away with you that could work in all conditions, what would it be? And this is what they produce. This is the Vessel Performance Series Delta model. What'd you think, Elle?
I really liked it. It was a little big for me personally, but once you got up and had a good section, it was able to do everything really that you wanted.
Yeah. How'd you find the round tail in Bali?
I love round tails.
Do you like round tails in general?
I'll grab them in everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
This is perfect. And it was a bit bigger too, so it kind of, when the swell did pick up, it was good.
Could have a bit of volume under you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you surfed this at Airport Left.
I didn't.
No, you surfed
Left.
Airport Left, yeah. And then you surfed at Uluwatu and Car Park Rise. Yeah. So you had a good variety, got to go forehand, backhand, forehand, that too much because you started blowing your knee out again.
Yeah, that's right. Yikes. I haven't been left that much in so long.
Yeah.
Probably ever.
That's right.
Consistently for 3 days. I don't think I've ever done that.
Oh, it was wild. There was a lot of waves out there.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, what do you think of this one? You liked this one, didn't you?
I did. This was the first one I rode.
Out at
Airport Left.
You were on it.
Yeah, I was on it. I think you mentioned that Dave Vessel shaped in Bali for many years.
Yes, he did shape in Bali for many years. He actually had a shaping base set up there and full manufacturing in Bali.
Yeah, so I think that really came out in his shaping.
Mm.
Once you got up on I think above 3 foot, when it has speed, it's very maneuverable and it holds. So I think, when you're surfing in Bali, when you're surfing the points, Uluwatu or Karamis or even car parks when it's good, or even Padang, amongst so many other waves. I could just keep listing all the waves.
Padang, and it's also KFC, it's woodworking too.
It was a really good board up and down. If you got some speed and a good wall, it'll provide some pretty good turns.
Beautiful. Well, it held up really well. You guys thrashed it. Was the step up here, was that getting barreled, was it?
That would have been...
Oh, no, that was you going for airs. Yeah.
That would have been me, because you can see like the fingerprints here and the heel.
Yeah, there you go.
So I was trying to figure out which that's my big toe.
Heel and toe.
Wow.
You're supposed to be surfing, not dancing.
And there's Ellie's toe.
Wow.
I like how it's still covered in the black sand of Bali.
Of Karamis.
Of Karamis, yeah. So, good board, hey? All around good board. You travel with it?
I'd definitely go to Indonesia with it.
With it, yeah. Awesome. Now, what I found interesting about this little number was these channels that you should be able to see. We got a bit of wax on there because we just jammed all the boards in to come home. It's like, oh, we've got to get home in a hurry. These channels down the side, which, I don't know how you guys found that. Quad swallow with the box on the swallow. What do you think? Tommy, you surfed this I remember you surfed this right up at Temples pretty much.
Yep.
I saw some big turns go down on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a big turn board. I felt.
Yeah, right.
That's a good way to describe it. It's, as you said, the channels are very interesting. I think when you're going straight, it has heaps of speed.
Right.
Add that in with the quads and, you got a bit of a speed machine going down the line. At first, for me, I think it was a little bit tricky of managing that because you have so much speed going down the line. And But once I figured it out that I had to put my back foot really back,
Right back,
on
yeah,
top of
yeah,
the fins,
yeah.
and try to get as much pivot as possible. And off the lip, you know, it felt very good. It felt like I had heaps of control.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing a big finner that you did on this. I was like, whoa, I would have fallen off. No, of course I would have fallen off. But the way you hit it, I was just like, were you going to come unglued? And you didn't come unglued.
And that's the thing. It's that extra control.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still not sure why. It could be the channels. We'd have to talk to the
Talk to
shaper.
shaper. Yeah, exactly.
But I was very impressed with the speed going straight down the line and the control.
Yeah. So the shaper, he's from South Africa, and he worked a lot with Geordie's dad, Graham. And he actually was looking after Smith Shapes in Australia. So this is his design. He was a grinder, but he like me, he's a bit older these days, and you know, when you get a certain age, you know, you don't have the metabolism that you do. Can't eat 3 meagerangs in a row and follow it up with a nazi. And he told me he designed this for the bigger guys to get speed, get up and moving on the wave. And when you are bigger, it's easier to turn what I would consider a stiffer board. So, and that makes a difference. So what's your feeling is, because you're such a lightweight, you're noticing there's a board designed for someone that can throw their weight around. So.
Yeah, as I said, it's a big turn board.
Big turn board, exactly.
Everything big.
And that's what you did.
Yeah, that's what I tried my best to do. And
No, you did.
I did.
I saw some. I got the footage of it. It looks good.
Yeah.
How'd you find it, Ellie?
I found it pretty tricky.
Tricky for you, yep.
Thomas and I switched out at Ulus, and he watched me paddle into a wave, and the board went one way and I went the other way, and he just laughed. He's like, I knew that was going to happen. I was like, oh.
I knew it was going to happen because it's got so much drive going
so
forward.
Much drive, yeah. And
Yeah.
I didn't I've never surfed a quad, I don't think, ever.
Oh, okay.
So that was my first
So
time.
it's a bit of an experience with a quad as well.
And I don't usually ride swallowtails either, so I think the whole combo is just new.
And then channels on the rails as well. So.
But like Thomas said, getting speed was fun. Like
Yep.
it had so much speed highlining, and then it was just, I found it a little tricky to try and bring it back around without bogging or falling.
Yeah, well, that was on your forehand, but you surfed this again on your backhand at, well, both ways at car parks. And I did see some turns on it, and you started to work it out by the time you got there.
Yeah, I feel like if I had like a whole or a few sessions to surf it, I'd probably start to enjoy it more and like, you know, get used to it.
And use that
Which would be
speed that
cool.
it gives you.
Yeah. It'd be a fun board to just try and really figure out.
Good summer board, I reckon.
Yeah.
And you know what they say, speed is power.
That's true. I think this was one of my favourite boards.
You like this one? Yeah.
Batch, but I think this is because it's super similar to my boards that I ride every day.
Yeah.
But with a little bit more volume, so.
Yeah.
But it just responded well to everything that I wanted to do, and yeah, felt good.
Felt good. You surf this just around at Karamas?
I
and
think
car
I
park,
surfed this
right?
almost
Everywhere?
Yeah, I think I had a go of this one everywhere.
Uluwatu as well.
Yeah.
So lefts and rights.
Yeah, I loved going left on this.
Yeah, right.
Usually I'll have like a board I prefer going right and left on.
Okay.
But this one was kind of like an all-rounder. Like I knew I could surf it anywhere and feel like confident on it.
Yeah. And this is what we again, the brief was, the all-round travel board.
Yeah.
Classic squash tail. Not too knifey a rail, sort of more of a boxy rail, but not too boxy either, so you could put it on rail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun looking shape. Now, Mauricio shapes Cooper's boards. So Cooper's good model is a MG, and he also shapes for 7-time world champion Lane Beachley.
Oh.
She's on the team.
Cool.
So yeah, he's got a couple of, and a few other young up and coming guys surfing for him.
Yeah.
And you can tell, it seems very refined towards performance and everything around that. It's an all-rounder, I felt like.
Just like a good, solid board. Trusty
which is
board.
exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you find it on rail, Tommy?
It held.
Held? Yep.
Yeah, it definitely held. It was, as Ellie mentioned, very responsive towards everything you want to do. You know, predictable in a way. I only surfed this at Kramerson car parks.
Yep.
Because I was trying to save it for some more performance-y rides.
Yeah.
I do wish I had a go at it at Ulus too, because of that responsiveness on my backside. You know, it could have been. Yeah, there could have been some good turns.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, I did see. We did go left a bit at car parks as well because it was running up the beach, and it seemed to work pretty well there as well. And I have to say, you guys have both got two of the best backhands. Like your backhand, because I've only ever seen you on a lot of right-hand points,
I've never
obviously.
really seen you go backside either.
Yeah, exactly. And then he gets out at Uluwatu and just goes wham, wham. I'm like, wow, where did this backhand technique come from living on the Gold Coast?
Gets a cover.
Honestly,
Gets a cover on his backhand.
It's, you know, I've been to Bali. I had been to Bali twice before.
Yep.
And probably 90% of the time I was at Uluwatu.
Because you love
every
it so
single
much.
day. I love
That's
that wave.
cool.
Not only because of the beautiful cliff background and the several Migarang restaurants right in front of the cliff, but also it's just
what's the best Migarang restaurant?
It's called Sunset Warong.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Massive
My favourite
coconuts.
too. Massive coconuts, bigger than your head.
Migarangs with chicken satay sticks, which is the big seller.
So it is the big seller. So all round, good board.
Great board.
Love it.
Looked like it went well.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys. All right, we have the little 20 from Album. What I found interesting that they sent us an epoxy, and you don't generally go epoxy twin/fish, and here it is, and it looked like it went really well. Ellie, where'd you surf this one?
I paddled out Ulus, I think, the first time on this board, and I had so much speed. Like, I don't think I've ever had that much speed on a board before. It was crazy. I didn't know how to turn at the first time. I was like, oh my God.
Well, that's 20s, isn't it?
Yeah.
No drag from that centre fin.
Mm-mm.
And then what were you doing with the speed once you had it?
I was trying to just like slow down a little bit, but Tommy was saying you can try and like highline and then drop down.
Yep.
And I ended up piecing like a 2-turn combo that was kind of fun.
Felt good.
But Ulus is just such a nice wave that you just want to like keep going. So
Yeah.
But this board you can surf it like, you know, you can do your turns and then you can just highline and have fun that way too.
Yeah, right.
Which is cool.
Yeah. How did you find the epoxy construction as a twin?
I actually didn't really notice that it was an epoxy, but it makes sense.
It's called their light bender model. So
Yeah,
did you feel like you were bending light out there?
Yeah, I felt like I was flying
Across a rainbow?
on a cloud. No, it was really fun. I want one of these.
You want one of these?
Yeah.
Yes. You have to talk to them, won't you? Say, oh, can I have one of those? As an addition to the quiver?
Yeah.
It'd be perfect.
That's when we were in the water and Ellie got her first few waves and I asked, oh, how'd it go? She said, well, I'm going to message the guy and ask if I can keep it.
There might be a few people in front of her in that line, I think. I'm sure they'll make you another one. I did get told they made one for you that would have been perfect for the test, and then they gave it away.
Rude.
And they had to make another one. And they made the one for us, and they gave that away, and then they had to make another one.
They're just selling like hotcakes.
They're selling like hotcakes, so...
They're hot right now. It's a big Album surf. When I saw it, when we pulled all the boards out of the board bag, I was like, wow, this is going to be very interesting. I think it's a 5.3.
I think so, yeah.
Very thick through the rails.
Yep.
But extremely light. And I didn't realize either that it was an epoxy until you told me.
Yeah.
But it surfs like a normal board. That's the weird part. It surfs like a normal board.
Yeah. You have like trust in it.
Yeah, you
Like
do.
you don't feel like you're going to slide out.
Yeah.
Ever.
And that was very important for my first session at Uluwatu racetracks,
Yeah.
where it was low tide, maybe 3 to 4 foot, and barreling on top of dry reef. So I needed trust.
Seriously.
And yeah.
Well, that kick stall you did on your backhand, it was so good. I was just like, that is a brilliant little stall to barrel and then come running out the end there. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, it was, facilitated by this board. I found it extremely fun, high lining all the way down to the barrel section and then pulling in and having complete control the whole time. Not only at Uluwatu, but also at, not Karamas, I surfed car parks.
Yep.
And it was on the flip side. It was, 2, maybe some 3-footers coming through. The wind was starting to come up a little bit more and it was still, super fun.
Had all the speed you need with the little onshore crumble.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd definitely take this.
As a travel board?
Yeah, anywhere.
Anyway.
It would definitely come.
It's
Perfect.
it's the board that puts a smile on your face when you're
Yeah.
not having a good time.
There you go.
Yeah.
What a great wrap. This looks good. I love the spray, huh?
Yeah, I do like
Does
the
spray
colour.
make you think the board's going to go better, or it just goes good anyway?
That was the first reaction of I think everyone when we pulled all the boards out of the board bags. That was the reaction from everyone.
Yep.
Was that looks fast.
Yeah, it's like,
That looks
I might
really
steal
cool.
This design.
you like it? It's a nice design, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. How'd we find it, guys?
Ellie?
I really liked this one. I think I surfed this one the most in the end.
Yeah.
Just felt like a little thicker through the chest and through the rails.
Yep.
And the nose. I noticed if my technique was a bit off or my front leg was straight, I would bog or kind of dig a nose, but it kind of helped me do better, I guess, with
Pull
my
through it.
technique and
Yeah.
made me bottom turn more and use my rotate and head, and so that was cool, and it had so much speed,
Yeah.
and I felt like I could really drive out of my turns.
Yeah.
And they felt like I could kind of push harder,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked this one.
Yeah, I was just watching some footage before, and yeah, you were throwing some spray at car parks. That's for sure. And then I think you went over to Karamas as well
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you guys switched up boards while you're out there.
Yeah.
I don't think we had this out at Uluwatu at all.
Oh,
No,
you
I think
didn't
it
surf
was
that
just at Karamas. We surfed this one, Karamas and car park rides. But I think it suited that kind of wave.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was partly my decision because I kept saying I want to surf this at Karamas.
Yeah. So we never took it out.
And I think one of the reasons for that was I remember watching Wade Carmichael. I'm not sure if he was on a rusty, but I guess it just biased my decision because he surfs rusties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ripping in the CT at Karamas.
Yep.
So I was like, well, maybe this board goes very good at Karamas. I saved it.
How we influence ourselves, eh?
Yeah.
Like what we watch.
And not only that, also because it has the thickness up the nose and it looks like a board that you can, put heaps of power into it and it holds and controls.
There's
And I did.
no indents in this one either for us.
Yeah.
Strong, yeah.
Pretty strong.
Yeah.
Construction, yeah.
Well, from you.
Just still your toe
Couple of
again.
toes.
I remember, when Ellie put this under her arm and thinking, the thickness up here,
Yeah.
it seemed very thick.
I thought it was going to be huge.
Thought it was going to be huge.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that I found most impressive about the sport is that it had so much, it was so easy to turn from the back foot,
Yeah.
even though it looks like, a
Chunky board.
chunky board.
Yeah.
It was easy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
easy to surf.
Well, as we said, working with Letty on this model, he'll want a lot of volume up the nose because he's going to be surfing on the nose a fair bit because he does throw it in the air a lot. He's a bit of a air aficionado. stutter it out. So I would imagine that's why they've thrown a lot of volume up here to land on that, to surf out of it. And it's, you know, it's a bit of a Medina thing too, isn't it? He has tons of volume in his board, so I would suggest, relative to what you're normally surfing, if he jumped on that leaderage and then you look at his actual leaderage, would it be like this? He'd add that extra volume in it just so he could throw it around, land on it, surf it backwards, do everything you need to do.
Makes sense.
Speed.
Yeah.
Had heaps of speed.
Speed
Yeah,
is
it seems a
power.
bit flatter too than some
Yeah.
of the other boards.
Yeah. Which does give you speed.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, as I said before, that it's a board that it looks like, and it does, you can throw it around a lot. We did surf Karamas past midday, which is always windy. And I surfed on it for maybe like an hour and a half.
Windy, low tide.
Windy and low tide, and you know, relatively small, like 2 foot.
Yeah,
And it had heaps of speed and it was very maneuverable.
sure did. And I saw some you did put some big bangers on your back end too, going left at car parks as well. Yeah. And it looked really tight in the pocket. So. All right, here is Tommy's cover board.
Take it away.
Pull it out.
Let me pull it up again just in case you've somehow forgotten. You just leave it there the whole time.
I'll just hold it here.
Ripping at Uluwatu, obviously. We did surf it over at car parks and Karamas as well. Because I'm pretty sure you surfed it over there. Did you surf it at Uluwatu as well, or just?
I think I might have surfed it at Ulu's
You did one afternoon, yeah.
one afternoon.
Yeah. So got a good run. Now Steve's comes from WA originally, so he knows how to shape a board for Indo-esque power, Indian Ocean power. And it seemed to go well, I thought, for both years. What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, this was the first board.
Well enough to get a cover.
Yeah.
This was this was one of the first boards I rode at Uluwatu in the afternoon. It was very fun. The swell was building and there were some pretty nice sections to hit. And as soon as I jumped on it, it felt like it was, you know, a board that you could hit a big section and ride out with control. It felt like it had a little extra weight through the front, which helped with the speed generation and even riding out of those big turns.
Yeah.
And then it has, you know, to complement that, it has the swallowtail, and I think the swallowtail gives a little bit extra pivot and responsiveness off the back foot.
Yeah, it's that little bite.
So I felt like it was a very good board at Uluwatu and also at Karamas.
Yeah. It's got a classic pulled-in tail, which will give you that sort of go on it. This is their accelerator model. Did it accelerate?
It did.
Well, good. They've named it well then.
Yeah.
Ellie?
I don't think I surfed this one too many times.
Yep.
But when I did, it was kind of smaller, and I found it a little bit trickier to turn.
Yep.
But it did hold speed well. When I think I surfed it out Ulu's, and it held like the high line, and I felt like I could do good carves on it. But then when we went to Karamas and car parks, I just felt like I couldn't turn it as well.
Yeah, it was a bit
and
softer and smaller. The conditions when you're at Uluwatu, it was like quite solid.
Yeah.
So it could, and again, like we said, he shapes for
bigger,
that
punchier,
heavier conditions. You can imagine taking this out at Margaret River.
For sure. Yeah.
And how well it would hold.
Yeah.
There.
Definitely. I think I should have just tried it in bigger stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it feels good.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good board.
Yeah, good rails. Everything's refined beautifully. Yeah, good board, huh?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, Abraham Road, 20. Lots of volume, lots of fun. How'd we go?
Yeah, it was a board that, you know, the volume was definitely very noticeable. It was a big board, and straight away I think we thought oh, this will be very fun on the small days.
Yeah.
Which it was very fun on the small days, but you know, it actually surprised me when it was, you know, 3-4 foot still. It was still a very good board to ride.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fin box busted at the back there?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, wow.
That was when I
Was
hit the
that when
reef coming.
You did surf it at low tide.
Low tide, onshore,
Low
waist
tide.
height surf.
Mm-hmm.
It made me look like a kook. But yeah, there was no blame on the board. That was all the conditions and me being cramped up filming for 7 days straight or whatever it was.
Seriously.
Ellie, you were ripping on this.
Yeah, I surfed it out car parks, I think. It was fun. It was just like a fun, good board that you could get speed and still do turns. And I could go backside on it, which is cool. I always think on a 20 you can't. It's just like you have to nurse your turns, but this was really cool.
No, you come off the bottom, off the top, no problem at all.
No, and that's the thing that I found most interesting about the sport is that you didn't have to nurse it.
No.
Yeah.
You had all the speed that a 20 has from the get-go.
Yeah.
And even with the section coming into you, you could lay into it and it would hold.
Wasn't squirrely in the tail at all?
No.
There you go. Wow.
No,
Nice design.
Good. Yeah.
Because that's a classic 20, you know, it gets a bit squirrely in the tail.
For sure.
And you can't drive hard off the bottom, otherwise you get that little...
Yeah. I mean, when you
It's
pushed
technical
off
term.
on an end section, it would kind of release a little bit, but it was fun. It wasn't like you're
Out
losing
of control.
Yeah.
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 I love the resin tint on it too.
Pretty.
It's pretty.
So pretty.
Yeah.
What do you think, Thomas? Was it pretty?
Suits you, Tommy.
It's beautiful.
All right. Well, thanks, Az. Great design. Local Gold Coast lad.
Cool.
I think Carvalho's surfing for him now.
Oh,
So,
sweet.
yeah, it's good fun. Again, another grassroots shape, and we love our grassroots shapers at Surfing Life.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, now we've got the Ryan surfboards. This is epoxy wrapped in carbon. A lot of people are into the carbon wrapping at the moment, so I've surfed one before. Have you surfed a carbon wrap before?
Never.
This is my first time too.
And like the literage we gave them was 27 to 27 and a half litres. And I think this came in at like 26 and a half. Is it on there? No.
No, it doesn't say.
No, but it was like I think it was like 26 and a half. And I'm like going, well, that's pretty light, guys. Do you think there's enough volume for... And what were your thoughts when you grabbed it for the first time?
I was the first one to surf it, I think, at Uluwatu.
Yeah.
It might have been the first board No, it was like second board I surfed. First one at Uluwatu.
Yep.
And, you know, I was thinking the same thing. Wow, this is very light. It might be a little bit too small. The rails are a little bit thin. And then as soon as I, you know, jumped on to start paddling, I was like, oh, this feels pretty good under the chest. It's not sinking, that's for sure, and it's staying on top of the water. And then first wave, it was the same thing. It was completely under control. It was a sort of predictable board, I think, because it's so stiff, because the carbon wrap, it's very responsive, and it's got good control off the lip and off the bottom. And even at 4 foot, 5 foot Uluwatu, it was holding and surfing very well.
Yeah, it looked like it. I remember sitting up there filming going, whoa. I just thought it might have been too small for you, and it just really wasn't.
No. Well, I surfed it at, you know, it was the first day, it was like 4 to 5 foot.
Yeah, easy.
Uluwatu, even with the wind, the devil wind coming up the face, it still felt pretty good. And then I surfed it last surf at 1 foot car parks.
Yeah.
1 to 2 foot car parks in the morning, and still very good.
Still, yeah, you definitely got it in a very wide variety of
Yeah.
conditions, didn't you? And Elle, you surfed this out at Uluwatu and at Karamis as well, or car parks as well?
Yeah. I think I went right up at, where were we, Temples?
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah,
was my
you did
first.
go
I
right.
went right.
Paddle all the way up Temples, takes
Go
off,
right.
and goes right. And it was a banger
It
too.
was like a 3-turn right. I couldn't believe it.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
And
though.
I missed it on the video, by the way, because I'm like going, well,
Who's going
going
right up there? No one goes right up
I'm not
there.
expecting anyone to go right. I'm like, that's hell.
I know.
And I
It was
said,
just a
what the
wedgie
hell,
one.
Al?
Yeah. Don't do that.
I got just the end of it. I was like, no, damn it.
No, it was just so quick. But I think
Fast,
because it was
yeah.
a wedgie wave, but it just like every time I wanted to do a turn, it just like put it there real easy, which was cool. And then going left, I felt like it was almost like too quick. Like I'd paddle in and just like accelerate off, and I was like, I need to do a turn.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just had to like kind of take a deeper bottom turn to make sure that I kind of wore off a little bit of speed.
Yeah.
But it was super responsive. I felt like I couldn't drive too much just because it felt so light. Like that's probably more of a feeling than what it looked like. But
Yeah, and I'm sure they could probably glass it a touch heavier to take that feeling out. But gee, it
still
looked
felt
good.
good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considering it goes like in waves that size, and then you can surf it 1 foot windy car parks or crammers. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tommy's holding that bit because Tommy did this to this board and he was scolded. No. I was talking to the shaper and he said, I would much rather see him broken than not ridden. And shaper is Kobe Perkovic, board is System, and he is an air guy. So, and you broke this going for an air backside at car parks. It was a classic where it folds right in front of the fins. It is the weakest point in every surfboard.
Yeah.
And how many times have you been watching a CT event and breaks right there? So that's just the nature of surfing, especially when you're hitting. And that move that you did when it snapped, that's exactly how I've seen it happen.
You keep going.
So many times, yeah. The board flies off and you like...
Yeah.
I've seen it happen, and as you guys would have. But did we enjoy this board?
Yeah, I think I was a bit too excited on it.
This was a good board.
It was a very good board.
Yeah.
Did you shed a little tear?
I did.
Yeah. I looked straight at Ellie. Sorry, Ellie.
I'm sorry.
'Cause I knew Ellie really liked this board. Kobe Perkovic, he's probably one of the best aerialists, not only on the Gold Coast, but I think in the world. Like, he's very technical, the stuff he does. And,
Very technical.
I've always been, I've seen his shaping and how it's very interesting to see how it translates into his surfing. And as soon as I saw there was a system in the board bag, I was like, "Ooh, I might try some airs here." And I did. I think I nearly made a very good backside air at car parks.
Yeah. You did make a backside air at car parks, definitely. But that big hanger you did, that looked sick, yeah. And
I made it and then just fell.
Yeah.
And even in the calves, it felt very knifey. Like it held on rail very well. And yeah, I think I was getting heaps of boards and heaps of waves, and went for an air on like this kind of dumpy left, and I was like, yes, I can do it. It's your system.
Anything
And I was
possible.
like, no, maybe Huey's the boss.
Oh, absolutely. Ellie.
Well, I only got to surf it like twice.
Still in trouble.
But I really liked this board. When I did surf it, it just felt like I could, like, when you first stand up on a board and you're like, oh, it's going to go good. That's like the feeling I had on this one. I think because the rails, I don't know, they feel good, nice and round.
Yeah.
And it's just similar to a board I would ride every day.
Yeah.
It's drivey. It's definitely knifey.
You can push off it.
You can push off it.
Yeah.
I was chatting to Kobe about boards and air boards in particular, and he's like, oh, people get confused. I think flat boards, so you get all that speed is what you need for an airboard. He says, no, you need the same rocker if you're going for a in the pocket performance board.
To get that lift
pop,
off the, and that's what I felt.
Yeah, and that's how we shaped it. So,
Cool.
hang on, is that your knee?
Oh, I'm not sure. Or maybe because I did get a little cut
There
just
you go.
over the knee.
Yeah, little shindinger.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Kobe. Good board.
Yeah.
Went great.
Thanks,
And we
sorry,
broke it.
Kobe.
Shape is another one. All right, beautiful. Well, that sort of wraps up our boards testing. But to close out a little bit of business, we're covered in salt
Sand
and
and
sand and all the good stuff us surfers like. Guys, thanks for coming in and, thanks for coming to Bali with us in the first place. I know it was a chore to come over, over and go surfing. So, especially when you're in the water for 8 hours straight. So it was a mammoth effort and we really appreciate it. And for coming in, we've got some gifts.
Oh.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Here's a stubby cooler from Fantasy Surf Session.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, good.
It's
Fantasy Surf Sessions.
banger.
Thank you.
Subscription to Fuel TV.
Well,
Their
thank you.
premium service.
Epic.
One of the best presents is Surfing Life Mag.
Oh, perfect.
It won't be. It's almost the best present. When the
I
printed
thought it was
copy,
gonna be Tommy on the front. I was like,
we're still a little bit away from going to print. So
No.
yeah, I was going to say,
Aussie.
you did that real quick if that was...
Aussie.
no,
Oscar Berry.
Oscar. Yeah,
Very
Oz
good
with the
pick.
cover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sick.
cool.
And from our friends at Wear It, here's a surf watch. For
Oh,
you.
wow.
So that's a Tide watch, but in analog. And one for you too.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool. I need a watch.
You
Thank
need a
you.
watch?
Yeah.
Well, you have a look at the colour of that one. It's a nice one.
Oh,
Gotta get it out now.
it's like an unboxing. It's like a
It is an
reveal.
unboxing.
Oh.
Isn't it?
That's very nice.
Still again. Ooh, oh, it's like Christmas.
It is like Christmas, isn't it?
How pretty.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
There
Wear
you
it.
go, little rose gold number.
Oh.
And here's a board rack from Narwhal. Because you've always got too many boards, haven't you? Oh, sorry, mate, throwing it away.
Wow.
And here's a horizontal multi-rack for you.
Oh, perfect.
How good is that? Now you can see all these lovely racks we got up here on the wall. That's
This
Oh,
is all
visit.
Narwhal.
It's all Narwhal, yeah. So enjoy
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
And
Aw.
Thank you.
to stick it all in, here's a tote bag from, not from Pepito, but from
Peter.
from Fuel TV, which I love the graphic on that tote bag. So,
This is really cool, yeah.
guys, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. All your
Thanks
hard
for
work.
having us.
And guys, thanks for watching and tune in again next time.
In the morning and I'm into the sun. I got the phase one kicking and I'm starting to strum. You know it's been this way since the day it's begun. Before the one drop, one stop record was spun.